your story gives me 2 segues into one of the 3, two of the 3. Sorry.
How many near-death
Three.
experiences?
I've had 3. I've had
need to,
very
like,
specific 3 ones, but I'll tell you after. It's his turn. When he's
Oh
done.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I think it's your turn.
Okay. So which one do
No
you
pressure.
want to know? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, this podcast episode is going to become like a 2-hour long
No,
episode.
no. Honestly, it's
This
not.
guy's story is half an hour long.
No,
You
I-
have 3.
No. it
Don't
won't be
cut it
long.
though. Cutting nothing out.
I'll take the segue of maybe the scars. Since you start, okay. So since you ended with the scar, I'll continue. So I have a scar here and here, and this was from I was 7, and I went to Dubai National School at the time, 2 years only, and then my parents were like, "Get out." So in that school, the last year, we had a bus driver who was reckless also, but I was in the school bus, so there was other students and whatever in the bus. Anyway, he was not relatively known to be dangerous, but not really, but he was a speeder. Anyway, so if you guys remember in Bur Dubai, if you remember Sana, that interchange of Sana.
Sana signal.
Exactly, Sana signal. Anyway, so we were at it's fine. So we're coming from Maktoum, and then we're at the signal, and our bus driver thought that, oh, it's fine if it's a red light. There's no cars. I can just speed through.
What?
With a school bus.
With a bunch of kids in the bus.
Wait, is it one of those like yellow buses or the
Yeah, but like
more
the
modern
Dubai
ones?
National School didn't have yellow buses. They were like gray and terrible.
How old are you in this?
I'm 7.
Wow.
I'm 7. Yeah. So I sat next to, you know, where the door opens, the bus door. So that's where I sat. And I swear to God, I literally got on the bus in school and I thought, don't sit here. But then I thought, whatever, just sit here. So I sat there.
Like in the single seat?
In the single seat by the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that single seat that opens, and usually there's the bus conductor that sits there, and we didn't have one because
No bus nanny?
no bus nanny.
Oh my
no
God.
bus nanny.
You guys are winging
low
it.
funds.
School was cutting budget.
Exactly. Anyway, so at the interchange, and he's like, I can speed through, not a big deal. So he speeds through, and a truck comes, not the level of your trucks. I'm thinking just a regular Sunny truck. Yeah. So
Like
the
a
truck,
pickup.
like a pickup, probably. Yeah. Either way, the truck hits the bus, and because I'm near the door, I went head first through the door.
God.
Further away from the bus, like
Superman style.
literally, and like further away, like another. So basically, I flew literally far away from the bus, and a random Nissan passed by and saw a child on the floor. So they picked me up and they're like, okay, so obviously something happened. And then they saw the bus further away. And then they're like, oh, there was an accident, etc. So they take me in the car and everybody thought I was dead. But wow. I remember, just like you're saying, like I remember my eyes opening and I have this sheet in front of my face and it's red, where it's kind of pinkish. And I don't know why, and I don't know where I am. And I can hear people talking and people asking, what's your name? And like, give us Ra'am Mama, Shura Mama. And I'm like, how?
I remember that too.
And I was like, 0 5 0. You know what I mean? Whatever. And then, and then I don't remember anything. And then I remember being pushed in the... I don't know what you call it, but like the bed. No, it's a bed thing. Yeah, and I remember calling out to my friend because I see her and I recognize her and I'm terrified because I don't know who these people are or what's going on. And she goes like, it's fine. And I remember her name was Sheikha. I don't remember what she looks like. I just remember going, Sheikha. Take me. And then that's it. And then 3 days or 2 days later, because I was almost in I guess it was a bit of a concussion or whatever. Mm-hmm. So 2 days, I think, or maybe a day and a half later, my mom, obviously I wake up and I go, what happened? And for the longest time, I wasn't allowed to see any mirrors. So I didn't know how bad I looked. But I had obviously this covered thing on my face, like
a big wrap,
mm-hmm. And my eyes were blue and it was huge. My sister couldn't recognize me, so I had a little sister and we shared the room and she was like, she'd get scared looking at me because that's how much I transformed. And I have no idea what I look like. My mom made sure that I wouldn't see my reflection until like much later. And then I'd have to like wear a hat when I'd go to school because obviously you couldn't get the sun and the scarring, whatever.
Yeah, I had that too.
Yeah. So yeah. And then the bus driver, he went to jail because he endangered so many kids.
Oh, wow.
And no one else got hurt. Not a single child got hurt. Nothing.
So you
Go figure.
You absorbed
Go
all of
figure.
the
Yeah. Go figure.
pain for that bus.
Go figure.
You're like a saint.
Go. This
You
is
took
why I'm
that
doing this
decision.
podcast. I'm just kidding. But you imagine, literally no one else got hurt. No one.
Not a scratch.
Nothing.
Wow.
Maybe like last little, but no one got hurt. Like no one needed to go to the hospital. Nothing.
How long was the recovery process?
It took about a month and a half for me to go back to school, or so I'm told. I have no idea.
How have your parents like recalled this story to you? Like, what's their version? They get a call. Like,
So so my mom was a teacher in I think EIS at the time. I can't remember. And she gets a call from the hospital that says like your daughter's been in an accident, and she obviously loses it and can't even drive, can't even get there. She calls my dad, who was on a trip in Australia. Of course,
he can get there first.
of course, and he's like, "What can I do? Like, what can I do?" You know. So anyway, and
I can arrive in 2 days.
Exactly. Also, it's like 3 a.m. What can I do? And she's like, she was convinced that I died because they're like, we found her away from the bus.
Oh my god.
So
That's
you know,
scary.
yeah. But then I was like, hey mom, hey girl, when she walked into the hospital, so it was fine. And then I was fine. But I still have the scar. I have the scar in my eyebrow like you do, and across my forehead. And then for the longest time, my parents tried to convince me to get rid of the scar. But it also coincided with Harry Potter, and I was like, absolutely, you do not touch my scar.
At least
The chosen one of the 3 siblings. I will keep my scar. Thank you.
I definitely had
That's
mine.
the best reason to keep it.
Absolutely. So thank you, Harry
Agreed.
Potter.
Made it cool, yeah.
Exactly. So
I
that
definitely
was
had my mom try to convince me a couple of times to like do some sort of surgery to cover that stitch part up. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I grow a beard all the time. Like,
That's
it's
true. It's good
covered
that you have a
anyways.
beard. That's
Yeah.
so true. And then I'd have to get a fringe. I had a fringe for the
What's a
longest
fringe?
time. You know when you cut your hair to bangs.
Ah, bangs.
Another word for bangs.
True,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And we were in Rashid Hospital, I remember, and their instinct for a child was to use black. Did they use black stitches for you as well? The
Can't
black
remember
thing?
honestly, but
Which is terrible.
'Cause
Terrible.
it shows.
yeah, 'cause
A, it
it's,
shows, and B, it's hella painful
It depends
to get
on-
rid of.
Oh god.
Yeah. So you should never do that ever.
And
if you have a choice.
how have you frequented school buses after that?
So after that, my dad, I think, would take us to school for about maybe 2 years.
Wow.
And then-
so he
and then
came back from
eventually-
Australia.
He was like, "خلاص ما في باص أنا بس." He was late every day, so that's why we would go on a bus. But and then eventually we went back on the bus. But then we went back on a bus. Actually, when I was in Moaca, we were on
Your
the bus.
parents were like,
My parents like,
okay,
"خلاص man,
this whole
خلاص,
drive-
she's over it. ما في trauma. It's
She
fine."
wants to keep the scar too.
Exactly. She's so
Let her do
mature.
it.
It's fine. She can handle it.
yeah, they probably
So, yeah,
like
2
talked
years.
you up. شطورة انت صح؟
يلا نركب على الباص ماما.
And your dad's like, thank God I get to sleep in.
Exactly. So that's what happened.
So that's one.
That's one.
Uh-huh.
And then the other one, which the segue is the
You're a walking miracle.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a mic. No. So one day I was out. I had
One second,
my
sorry.
special. Ooh,
Before you start this next story.
here, better.
Yeah. Not because of the sound, just because I hope the camera captures.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had my Mini Cooper, and I called her Cece, and we had a love story, and she was the love of my car life. And one day I was out, whatever, and on the way home. So I used to live with my parents at the time, and they lived in Green Community, which is Nowhere.
Far.
Very far.
Close to
Nowhere.
Motor City.
Like, no, not that one.
Oh, okay.
Not that
Far.
one. Further.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
okay,
you know
the
where
other-
you're about to start Jabal
Yeah,
exactly.
Jabal Ali, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
VIP.
So, where they found a couple
VIP.
land and like, oh, no one lives here. Let's build something there. So, that's nowhere. So, so every day I'd take Khair Road because whatever, that was the only way to get home. And also, when you have a mini, you know, you can speed out a little, you can have fun a little with the speeds, whatever. So, on Hissa, I had a problem with speeding. Genuinely, I genuinely had a problem with speeding. So
Like,
kids
what's the
don't
problem?
speed. Like I
Driving?
would speed way over the
So
limit.
you were not traumatized by the bus thing. At all?
Absolutely. Oh no. I was 7. Khalas, like by the time you're 8.
No, sure.
No. I mean, oh no, yeah, of course.
Old.
To everyone who is, you know, I'm not judging, but for me, it was fine. Like I just got in the car. So I was a speeder, whatever. And so on Hissa, so I'm driving down Hissa, and I was late. So my parents like, wait,
okay.
I'm late. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to get into trouble. So I'm a speed.
Curfew.
Exactly.
This is parents don't
I
know.
told them that this is the stress.
Yes.
Your stress. But
Exactly.
whatever. They said, no, you're whatever. So I'm just
You're whatever.
Exactly. So I'm on Hissa and I'm driving down. And so as I drive down Hissa, there's a turn that gets you from Hissa into Khail Road. There's like there's a very steep turn that,
Ooh, I know
that
it.
you know the one?
Yes.
So it's either you turn right or you get on the bridge and you continue to wherever. JVC, I think. So at the Hissa turn to the right, you can go really fast. So that turn, I was speeding and I thought I can never brake at a turn. This is what I thought. But I was like, I'm going way too fast.
What? 1 second.
Yeah.
We're gonna pause here.
Yeah.
What made you ever believe that never brake on a turn?
Because if you brake on a turn, you skid. If you're speeding, you're supposed to just you're supposed to lift your foot off the gas, but not actually
You
hit
can
the brake.
pre-brake though.
Yeah, but
You should have
guys,
pre-brake.
it's literally at the turn, yani, you know?
Too late. It's too late at
Exactly.
that
It's either you go full throttle or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, but wait a second. I'm going way too fast. Like, I'm not gonna, no way. So I decide to brake. Biggest mistake. And then I end up, so at the turn, there's a huge grass area. And it goes down. So it's like a weird hillish thing because of the bridge. So I spin into the turn, into the grass, and I spin. And like the car is like collecting that grass underneath because of how fast I'm spinning. And I absolutely lose control of the car. And then the car stops. And I go, okay, I'm okay. Like nothing happened to me. The car just spun. I just picked up a little bit of grass. We're fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's fine. Just drive back out onto Khail. You're fine. No one saw. You're fine. No cops. No one heard. Big deal.
Yeah.
Just turn off the music, maybe. Calm down. Get back on the Khail. So
Turn off the music.
Literally.
Get rid of the alcohol.
yeah, exactly.
Play it cool a little bit.
Play down the dubstep music.
Turn on the 88.9. Just get back on it. So I literally get back onto Khail, and as I'm driving, I was like, whoa, I almost died, and I lived through that. That's so cool. And then I hear so the back wheels of the car were absolutely destroyed. They ripped completely, and I had no idea. I had no idea because I didn't think to get out of the car and check the car, whatever. I just wanted to get home. Imagine, it was worse to like, oh, it's fine, I'll drive with a weird car, or to like deal with what's waiting for me at home. So I'm like, it's fine, just drive. So I'm like, no way, not a big deal. Akid la, I'm fine. And then literally goes, and it's the sound of a tire tearing sounds like rocks that are like coming out of your car. It's the weirdest sound. So I hear like, it's as though like there's a ripping happening, and there's like a weird heavy sound. And then I realize I have no wheels in the back, but the car is like skidding, the metal's like hitting the road.
God.
And I was like, what do I do? So then I'm like, okay, so I'm like, oh my God. So I'm slowly trying to turn the car slow, and I'm on Khail. So like the cars are like zooming past me, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm just trying to like putting my flashers on, like, please understand, like something's wrong with the car. And then I turn to my right. So I'm on maybe like the 1, 2. So I'm on the 3rd lane, and I've slightly moved to the 4th lane, so the truck's lane. And I turn and I see this massive, massive cargo truck, like the big ones that carry like those tanks of cargo, coming at me. And he's beeping. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I can't move the car. I can't get out of the car, because if I get out of the car is going to hit me and the truck. Yeah. I can't move the car. The car is not going to move. So I'm like, okay, you know what? You grab your phone and you cover your face, because the last thing you want is another scar. So just cover your face and grab your phone. So I did that, and I'm like, embrace yourself. And I turn and I see it, and it's coming at me. And I was like, okay, just see it so you know what it is, and maybe you can identify it later. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, just do this. So I covered my face. I held my phone, and I'm like, brace yourself so that you don't hit your head around the car. So just act like your own seatbelt. And I had my seatbelt on. And the truck comes and like it literally enters the car. Like it was here. God. And we both move into the side of the road where the sand is. And like we move a while. Like we're moving together. And I'm like just bracing myself. And then in the moment, I don't know what happened in that moment. And then next thing I know is I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. Like nothing happened to me. Everything's fine. So I open the door, and then I realized that, so I turned to my right, and I realized this truck is really close to my face. And it's literally like the truck's front, like half of it. So this is the whole truck, and then just the second half of it is like in the car. So I'm like, okay, can you open the door? And I'm like, okay, I can open the door. And there's glass everywhere. Oh, God. But I'm just like, just get out of the car.
Do you remember that part?
I remember everything, and I know that's why I told you about the sound, because I heard it hits. Because I closed my eyes and I braced myself.
Wasn't the sound like a squeaky sound? Like
no, the sound literally sounds like a collision, crash, explosion, boom, and the glass and everything. So like literally just brace yourself. And I opened the door. And I was like, okay, take off your seatbelt, get out of the car, and let the guy know that you're okay, because he's probably really worried that something happened to you. So I get out of the car and I go, I am so sorry. And he is bawling. He thought he killed someone. So he's bawling and he's like shaking. And I'm like, I'm okay. Are you okay? And he can't talk. He can't talk to me because he didn't think that anyone could have come out of that car after what he did. And I was like, I'm fine. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I'm in your way. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I couldn't move my car. And then he couldn't talk to me at all. And then this random car comes. And they go like, who died? Like, is everybody okay? Like, who died? Call the cops. Call this, call that. And I'm like, it's fine. It's just me. Like, we're fine. And he's fine. Let's just call the cops. And I need to call my parents. Tell them I'm going to be really late. Like, I'm going to be really, really late. So then I'm like, okay, so while I'm calling my parents to tell them, like, the cops, I see that the cops are coming. And I'm calling my parents. I'm like, hi, Dad, Mom. My sister actually picks up the house phone. First of all, I decided to call the house, because I knew if I call their mobiles, they're going to think something's wrong. So I'm like, I'll call the house. Sure. My sister will deflate the situation. Mm-hmm. So I call her and I'm like, hey, Nasty, so kind of had an accident. Can you tell like Bob to come pick me up, whatever? And then she was like, Mom, you had an accident. So she starts panicking. So then she's like, okay, I'll tell them. So I tell them where I am and they're coming. And then by this time, the cops come. And when the cops come, they go, Win Mota, which is where's the dead people. And I was like, no one died. It's just me. And the cop's like, what? I'm like, wallah, bas ana. I was like, there's no one. I was like, look, nothing's wrong with me. I was like, ma fi dam, like, I'm fine. Like, no, I'm fine. And they're like, what do you mean, ma fi dam? I'm like, ma fi dam. Like, he's like, your arm, it's all blood. And then basically I had some glass that came into the jacket. But that's it. Nothing serious. Wow. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm alive, whatever. And I was like, don't look at the car just yet. Like, don't freak yourself out. Then my parents come. And when my parents come, I will never forget their face. They got out of the car. And when they saw my car, they went white. Like, they became like 2 sheets of paper. They were like, they couldn't imagine that someone was in the car. Anyway.
Let alone their daughter.
Let alone alive. But whatever. And then... This is something I will never forget. Every time I say it, like, I shake again because of how moving it was. So this random man in a gray suit comes out of nowhere in a gray car. He comes in a gray Mercedes. He gets really close to me. And my parents are there, the cops are there, everyone's there. And he comes to me straight and he goes, I will never forget this. And I swear to God. And my parents saw the car and they were like, who's this, whatever. And he comes up to me and he looks me in the face and he goes, in Arabic. How does he know I speak Arabic? I don't know. But in Arabic, he goes, you were supposed to die. What did you do? You were supposed to die. And he literally turns around and gets in the car and goes.
Oh, gosh.
I swear to God. And his face was so particular. He had such distinct features. His energy was so weird. So weird. It was all gray. He was wearing all gray. His car was, everything was gray. And then he just left. And then I was like, did you see the man? Did you see the man? And my dad's like, what man? I was like, you saw the car. He's like, I saw the car, but what man? He's like, the car came and went. I was like, you didn't see the man? There's a man. The man. And he's like, what man? And he's like, oh, that's just trauma, whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Let's just get home, whatever.
Oh, my God.
Literally, I don't know who he was. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. And then we get in the car. And my dad's like, we'll take you to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, look at me. I'm fine. I'm trying to show him I'm fine. Oh. And then we basically go home. And then that was it. And then the next day I went to the hospital to check because whatever, I was being stubborn. And everything was fine. And then I drove the next day.